Hi guys, it's Panel Hop here again. I'm back for another Buffy the Vampire Slayer video on this incredibly hot day here in the UK. It's in the high 20s Celsius, low 30s degrees Celsius, which I know if you're American and you work in Fahrenheit might not sound hot, or if you're Australian might not sound hot, but trust me, a 30 to 40 degree day here in the UK is really hot. But I'm here with Buffy the Vampire Slayer video because although I've been wanting to focus on Doctor Who on this channel for a while, I don't report on Doctor Who leaks because seeing an image from a set and guessing what it might mean are not the same as having thoughts on an actual broadcast story, particularly when these things can be changed in edits or in scripting or at the last minute. So I've got no thoughts on the 60th anniversary being filmed right now, and as far as the current era of the show, the Jodie Whittaker era, coming to an end, apart from that 40-second trailer at the end of Legend of the Sea Devils, there's been nothing. So there's nothing Doctor Who should report on anyway. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've been having thoughts on how to integrate Buffy the Vampire Slayer into the MCU if you wanted to. Obviously, you don't have to, and I'm not running the MCU, so it's not going to happen. But if you wanted to integrate Buffy into the MCU, you could do. Now, you may remember, if you've watched any of my videos before, that I made a video on whether or not you should integrate Buffy into the MCU, considering Disney now owns both properties. And I can't remember what my conclusion was in that video, but I'm pretty sure I came out against it. I would still generally be against it, but if I were to integrate Buffy into the MCU, this is how I would do it. So the canon Buffy timeline, excluding the 2019 reboot comics, runs from 1996, when season 1 starts, through the 7 seasons of the TV show, ending sometime in March 2003, and then has 4 more seasons in comic books, which would lead you up to 2007, 2008 within the Buffy timeline. Now, you may have noticed already, but the entirety of the Buffy timeline fits within a huge gap in the MCU timeline. You know, if you consider the MCU timeline to have begun during World War II with Captain America's exploits, and then Captain America is frozen, and then the first event to take place after that would be the events of, excluding the Asgardian stuff, would be the events of Captain Marvel, which takes place in the mid-90s as well, but, you know, separately. So it's conceivable that, considering we have magic in the Marvel universe, we have all this stuff, we always have had, there is space between, in the timeline of the MCU, between 1996 and 2008 for the 12 canonical seasons of Buffy, or actually, I'm going to scrap the 12th season because I know how the 12th season ends. Let's just say the 7 seasons of the TV show ending, or the 7 seasons of the TV show and the final season of Angel, which takes us up to 2004. Let's just say 1996 to 2004, all of that can take place within the MCU timeline and not touch any of the events of the films at all. And I think that's how I would do it. I would say that, you know, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer timeline as we know it ends in 2004 with Angel fighting off the apocalypse. The Slayer organization is out there, Buffy is out there, and that's where you leave it until you pick it up in a future point in the MCU, and you just account for the time difference, the 20-year time difference now, and you say the Slayer organization with Buffy and Xander and Willow at its head, and Angel and Spike being out there somewhere, has been running for 20 years, fighting occult forces within the MCU in the background. And I think that leaves it open for, all manner of versions of that character to come back. Because we're acknowledging the 20-year time gap, we can have Sarah Michelle Gellar or any of the cast regulars come back. They don't need to be digitally de-aged. They don't need to do any fight scenes. They can just be there. If you want to bring the vampire characters back, you can digitally de-age them. We have that technology now, but you can also say that they were killed, and you don't need to do that. And that's basically how I would do it. I would just have a member of a vampire slayer, a member of the Slayer organization, turn up in the MCU during the Blade stuff. Maybe I would have Sarah Michelle Gellar turn up for a cameo in the Blade movie, or maybe if we're gonna have more dark magic stuff, somewhere in there. And I think it could work, because all we'd have to do is say, yes, we're acknowledging the 20-year time gap since the show ended in 2003, and that's why, Buffy is almost 40 now, or over 40, and she doesn't have to do anything. She'll still have the Scythe, she'll still have the Slayer strength, because she's still alive at the end when that TV show ends, and she's been running the Slayer organization all this time. She's got a team behind her, and I think you could do it. And I would love to see it. I don't think anyone would agree with me, but I would love to see it. And those are my thoughts. Okay, guys, I'll see you later for another video. Bye.